Hello, Internet. I'm Matt.
And I'm Punter.
And this is the Parallax Scrolling Podcast, where we give you our perspective on video games and the news that affects them. Discord edition. Do-do-do-do-do.
Indeed, we're recording over Discord today because my family members got COVID. I have not come down with COVID at this time.
He in the lockdown.
But gotta stay away from people, and so we still want to make some content and want to hopefully bring the news and also our perspective on stuff. Like and subscribe
and comment. Please comment. We like comments. Yeah, we do read your comments, and sometimes when I'm able, I actually read your comments on time. So I'm sorry about that, but I try.
I guarantee you'll get a response.
Yeah, we'll get a response. We are we're working on upgrading ourselves even past what we've been doing. So hang in there, folks.
So, what have you been playing?
I have actually been playing probably the two biggest things I've been playing. I've actually been playing two different games. Because I've been trying to get my videos done that I already have finished, and so I got projects to work on. So while those things are rendering, I picked up Octopath Traveler again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's amazing how easily I was able to pick up where I left off. And
interesting. You remember the story that well?
Well, no, it actually has a journal function, so it gives you the story on all 8 main characters, and there's a journal for all the subquests. So you know exactly where you are at any point. And so with the mention of Octopath Traveler 2 coming out, I wanted to try and finish this one up. So hopefully the one thing I'm looking forward to, or I hope they do in 2, is I would like the ability to trade out my protagonist in the battle party. Only because in the first one, you have to pick one of the 8 heroes, and that's your protagonist. And they're in the party the entire time.
Even through the other stories?
Yeah, well, because when you go through the other characters' stories, you're still doing them, and they're like the main person you control during the story. But when it goes into fights, your protagonist is always there.
Gotcha.
But the problem is, I'm at a point where my protagonist is level 43, and my characters who aren't in battle all the time are 32. So I got 43 and 32, and there's a big discrepancy.
Sounds like that's actually intended, based on what you've told me so far.
Maybe, but I don't like it. It either have like a Pokemon system where this guy's not in battle, but he's still going to get some XP versus no XP.
I can understand that.
Well, because you still have the job system, so you don't need the people who are not in the party should not get job points to level up their skills, but they should at least get experience points to keep their stats on par with your main party.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably look it up, I guess, get some more information on that.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I'm still going to get into Octopath Traveler 2. It's just,
I don't have it. Yeah. I don't have it readily available, but I do remember reading this week that there is a Soulsborne game that is using the Octopath Traveler art style. So that could be interesting. I have to look.
And you don't have that information for me?
I don't right now, no.
And you dare mention that on the podcast?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, of course you did, because you're on Discord. You're not in the same room with me, so I can't slap you.
Is there going to be any clickety clacking?
You know what? I might, just to annoy you now.
You don't have. It doesn't take much for you to annoy me.
Pot calling kettle black. Hello. But the other game I've been playing, I actually picked up Yakuza Like a Dragon.
That one I've been eyeing as well.
It's interesting, and I say interesting like that because I love the game. It is so much fun. The fights are fun. First off, I did think the game was more like a GTA, or Yakuza, like a third person run around, beat people up kind of game. It's actually an RPG, and I didn't know that going in.
Very cool.
Yes. But it is really good. And the main character has a fascination with Dragon Quest. And so it bleeds into the world as you go through the game. And so they'll be like, we need to introduce this mechanic. Yes, you know how in Dragon Quest you need a party? Well, here's your party, and this is how you can help them. And it's just really funny. The humor is pretty spot on for what it is. I say interesting, though, because I was expecting this game to be like, you either are a Yakuza or you're an ex-Yakuza dealing with the criminal world, underworld.
Yeah.
And you do. But I thought it would be like you take it takes place in like their offices and the streets, which again it still does. But for whatever reason, at this point in the story, most of my party has connections to this building of a disreputable nature, where how do I say this on the podcast to still keep us family friendly?
Disreputable nature is probably good enough.
You think so? Because like it's okay.
I think we're experiencing technical difficulties.
Whew, all right, sorry about that. So this is gonna be a fun edit for me because my microphone disconnected, so I had to reconnect myself. Yeah, so I was trying to get away with saying that the crew, their main base of operations is a house of ill repute. There's the thing, house of ill repute. That's the one. Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So which for anybody who doesn't understand, I play in the living room at night, but there's still people in my house, and it's a rather awkward situation for them to walk into, so I'd rather not that not happen. You know? So, but overall, beyond that, the game is, really, really good. I really do enjoy it, and I like the story. The sub-stories are so, like, they tug on your heartstrings, And it's just, I love it. It's great. And I kind of, it's one of those, I kind of kicked myself. Probably should have been playing this one sooner. But I'm here now and I'm enjoying it, so that's good.
It happens. You can't catch everything.
You can't catch everything.
We only have so much available time. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah, until we get that. I don't know if you ever saw it, because I had friends who would watch this all the time. American Dad. There was an American Dad episode where the father he works for the CIA, and the boys over in R&D developed a pill that you pop this pill and it gave you a full night's sleep in like 10 seconds.
Ooh.
And so he basically lived the life because he was up 24/7. and I'm just like, that would be a really good pill, wouldn't it?
I mean, things can get bad if you're awake for too long. You can actually die from that.
Well, right, but I'm saying, like, but if the pill gives you the sustenance that your body needs from sleep, so that you can stay up for 24/7, you could be way more productive.
I suppose so, but relaxing is nice. Well, relaxing is nice.
True. But I guess the funny thing is, like, so what did the dad do during his while everyone else was sleeping? He was up all night playing video games.
There you go.
So I was like, yeah, that'd be the angle. Like, You don't have enough time to play video games. Yeah, well, if I could get the sleeping pill, I would. So
time well spent, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we are a gaming podcast, right? So
yeah, right. I have not played as much games as you might think. I've actually been watching a lot of Netflix lately. But I did start actually playing Valkyrie Elysium.
About time. Woo.
I'm having trouble locating in the first area all the flowers. I'm missing 2.
Okay, here's the thing. Those show up on the map eventually. Like, it's not like you find an item. Like, if you run around the area, you'll find them. Especially in the first area. I can tell you for a fact that there's one in the area right before the castle. But in order for you to get to it, you got to look to the rooftops and grapple up there.
Okay.
And then you have to roof hop over to it.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, so there's stuff like that. But then it's part of the story. You're going to find them eventually. There's another type of flower. But A, I couldn't find them all. And B, I have no idea what they talk about. Like, you know how you get a little story blurb every time? I don't know what the story blurb is on them. They're special. I think you have to find them all to unlock it, so...
I wonder if that's part of the true ending.
No, because I got the true ending. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm fairly certain I got the true ending.
Okay.
I'll say that. I'm fairly certain.
Because there's a good ending and a true ending.
Well, there's a ending I preferred, and then there is the good / true ending, but then there's also at least one more.
I think there's like a total of 3 or 4 endings. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, I guess at this point I could look online and get the answer, because I've already beaten it, but I also, I haven't thought about it.
Well, let's just jump right into it.
Yep.
The first.
So you have all the news stories this week. I don't have any. And
That's fine.
I just popped my water bottle and my microphone. I'm sorry about that. Trying to stay hydrated. But yeah,
I need one of those.
Yeah, you do.
But
yeah, no,
right,
so I don't have any of the news stories. You do, so I'm gonna let you take them, and then I'm just gonna chime in with my excellent witty comments. So.
Yeah. Well, the first one I wanted to go over is related to a series that's near and dear to my heart, that being Monster Hunter.
Real quick.
Considering
real quick side note, did you put these in order?
I guess we can go in order.
I mean,
it's not a
you
problem.
go whatever what you want. I was just kind of curious. So anyhow, sorry. Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
We're
Monster Hunter.
I wonder why you like that one. I don't know.
I might just like it. Who knows?
Yep.
I might or might not have made my name somewhat after it. So, Pokemon Unite developer. This comes via Polygon. Pokemon Unite developer Teamy Studio Group and Capcom, they're teaming up to make a Monster Hunter game for mobile devices. It's going to be a brand new Monster Hunter, and there's not a lot of details on it right now. But their stated goal is to reproduce the hunting actions and the gameplay that defines the Monster Hunter series. I'm kind of skeptical of that whole premise right there. Now, I do know that you can buy like the Wishbone controller. Sony just came out with other things like that for your mobile devices to make them more consoleized. But how is it going to be for people who don't have that option? I personally am not a fan of on-screen controls. I think there are games that work a lot better for mobile. I don't think anything that is action-oriented and things like that are very good for it.
I almost wonder if it's actually going to require the Wishbone controller. Like, it's going to be a game that requires it.
Or just another controller of some type.
Yeah.
You know what? you get into those higher rank hunts and things like that, and
Mm-hmm.
you got to be really on your game or you're going to die. And I just don't see how the touch screen is going to be conducive for that unless they come out with something that just knocks my socks off. I don't know. I who knows? Maybe it'll be a tower defense. If it's a tower defense, I can deal with that. I think tower defenses are actually really good on the phone. Um,
Actually, I was
but
thinking, if it is a monster, like a traditional Monster Hunter game, but everything's chibi. Every little person is like a little cutesy person, and all the monsters are little cutesy monsters. That would actually be kind of fun, I think.
I mean, the look aside, I mean, it still has to control well, whether they're chibi or not. I mean,
Right, right,
can you imagine, like the little chibi guy with his, the huge head trying to swing around a greatsword? That's I
right.
go through my head to hit the monster.
Well, okay, so he would have, even if he's chibi, he doesn't have to have a massive head. But like,
Yeah, but
if he's got a slightly big head, but still, that would be cute to see that little dude with that huge greatsword. That would be funny.
it would be entertaining at least for a little while.
I think it'd be very funny. It's almost as if when you're playing Elden Ring and you decide to equip the giant smasher.
Then yeah,
You're like, I don't have a head anymore. I just have this thing.
yeah, it kind of covers you all up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But there are some people who are not being covered anymore. I was really looking forward to this, and there's a lot of skepticism now, from what I can tell. This comes from Kotaku. Prince of Persia pre-orders canceled, but Ubisoft swears it's not dead. This is 2 years ago after it was first announced. There's been a string of delays, and now there's more bad news. The Prince of Persia remake for the Sands of Time was a great game when it came out. Lots of critical acclaim, definitely worth playing on the PS2 and the Xbox, the original Xbox. And I was very much looking forward to these games being updated and released. But when you cancel pre-orders, it doesn't look very good. It's not a good look. I sincerely hope that the games still come out. But maybe this is a good move by Ubisoft to be, trying to be good guy Ubisoft by, hey, you know what? We don't know when it's coming out. Why don't we just refund your money, and then you can give it back to us when the game is finally finished.
that is very possible. But honestly, I really enjoyed Sands of Time, and the other two were good, but I enjoyed Sands of Time much more. But I don't know if it needed a remake. I would have much rather they had taken the route like they did with Sands of Time, where Sands of Time was a complete reboot of the original Prince of Persia games.
Sure.
I would love yet another Prince of Persia reboot. Like,
oh, so you don't want it to be remade. You just want a whole new Prince of Persia game.
Yeah, I want them to keep the IP, obviously, and still have the same kind of premise of the story, but bring it in a different way. I want to see how that plays out. I think that'd be the better call.
Either way, I think it wouldn't hurt for them to remake it, but that's what they chose to do. And I think that there would be plenty of interest in it. I just don't know what's going on. Anything. Really, really hoping that they can do something with that.
Well, I mean, Ubisoft has confirmed that the game is still being developed. So the game has not been canceled. It's just that they're delaying it even further.
Yeah.
But still, I would rather they just say, no, we're actually going to cancel it because we want to do something different.
Hopefully we hear something good about it soon, but I just want to put it in everybody's mind. This is a good game and should be on people's radars. Because the platforming, the action, it's really top notch.
Right. And you know what they should do? Oh, here we go. Ready? Since this is Ubisoft.
Oh boy.
Prince of Persia and Rabbids.
Oh my. You know what? You're done. You're done. You're done.
Hey, if it worked for Mario, it can work for Prince of Persia.
You're done.
Oh no, I've just begun.
Oh my gosh. So one of the things, we go for some bad news, and this is at least some good news for now. Nintendo has no plans to raise the Switch price at this point in time. This comes via Kotaku again. In its latest earnings briefing, Nintendo continues to say that there are no plans to raise prices for its Switch console. Now, in the face of all the inflation that's been going on, not only domestically here in the United States, but worldwide, it's nice to see that Nintendo isn't doing that. But when I think about Nintendo's pricing model as it stands anyway right now, Nintendo stated in the late aughts, circa 2006, 7, something like that, that they would never release a console that operates on a loss model again. So, if you think of your traditional console models, they release the hardware. The hardware is sold at a loss. Which Nintendo said, Microsoft, for instance, said earlier this week that they lose $100 or $200 on each Xbox sold. But with Nintendo, they've explicitly said that they don't want to sell hardware at a loss anymore. So based on that, I'm led to believe that even when the Switch launched in 2017, there was probably a small profit that they were still making on each console sold. And if that's the case, which I'm really willing to believe that to be the case, that the hardware and everything has only gotten cheaper over time. 5 years later, that where we sit right now, Nintendo's in a different position than Microsoft and Sony. They have made these expensive consoles that are very, very powerful. And over here, you have Nintendo using circa 2015 hardware. There's like a big gulf in the pricing differences. And so the fact that they're not going to raise their prices right now because of inflationary pressure, it doesn't strike me as odd at all. But it's good, but doesn't strike me as odd. And
I mean, it's kind of not too surprising, I guess, at this point for the Nintendo to say that, at least to me, because okay, they're not going to increase the price of the Switch. Yeah, because they've already released the OLED version. They're not probably going to make a newer system or newer versions of the system at any point. And they're just going to continue to rake in the cash from the games.
Yeah, and for a system to be out for as long as it has, 5 years, and they have never dropped the price on this thing, still sells like crazy. I mean, they're making margin on it. They're going to continue to be able to do what they do.
Yeah.
And Switch could, at the end of the day, be the highest selling console ever released. Although I always want to put an asterisk on that because it's the only console you're going to really see where you can have multiples in the house really easily because people still view it largely as a handheld.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So I have two of them. One, my wife has one and I have one in a world where we just have one PlayStation and one Xbox.
Yeah.
So just right there.
And I was gonna say, and I have other friends who are in the same situation where I actually have a group of friends. He has one, she has one, and their daughter has one.
Yeah. So I mean, Nintendo's be able to sell a ton of these things because people view them as a personalized thing.
Yeah.
It's not the same where you hook up an Xbox to the TV in the living room and everybody uses it.
Right. But
so
it's nice to have this. Like I love my Switch, I really do. I don't play it as often as I probably should, I mean, that's obviously different because I have Octopath Traveler and I just talked about playing that. But it's a really great system because I could take it on the go with me places. I can take it to friends' houses. I can plug it in. We could play on the TV. We can still play on the same system if we want to. Or if we do the internet hookup, we each have our own system and we can play that way. And I still harken back. Do you remember? I'm gonna pick our old man brains here. Remember playing Halo in that house?
Oh, yeah.
In that one house?
Oh, yeah.
Where
I know which one you're talking about. We had 16 Xboxes. Or, no, we had 4 Xboxes, but 16 people playing.
Uh-huh. And I think
fun.
there's like a CRT and an Xbox sitting on like kitchen chairs. And
Yep.
like, but we're all in one little place. Yeah.
It was good times,
it was good.
man.
It was
that
good
was good
times.
time.
Which it reminds me of other LAN parties. Or actually Halo LAN parties. Like when I went to college, our entire dorm floor, we had 4 different rooms going together playing Halo, and so we would go through a match, and then people would start running up and down the hall, like talking and teasing and do it, and it was just nuts.
It was a good time.
Good times, but you know, with the Switch, it's now easier to do that. You know?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's the portability of it just makes it really simple.
Right. So I'm glad they're not going to up the price on this one.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here in the future, but you know, we'll end up hopefully having a new Switch before they do anything else here before too long.
Yeah, we'll see.
Speaking of new things that are going to be coming out, we have new graphics cards that were announced by AMD last week. This now they had a big presentation that you were able to watch on YouTube or other things like that, but this article I'm using here comes from Tom's Hardware. AMD has officially announced the RDNA 3 architecture. They have announced 2 graphics cards at this time. The RX 7900 XTX is their flagship. And then there's also the RX 7900 XT. The prices for those are going to be $999 and $899 respectively. You might remember a little while ago, NVIDIA announced their graphics cards. The Radeon XT 7900 XTX at $900 is a competitor to the Ada Lovelace 4080 16 gigabyte that is going to be coming out. And that's going to be $200. So it's $200 cheaper. AMD has also announced a slew of new technologies that are going to be in there as well to have technology parity. Things like our FSR 3.0. And with FSR 3, it's looking to do, now nothing's been confirmed at this point, but it could be the same interpolation of frames that as DLSS 3 is doing for the new NVIDIA cards. And that's supposed to come out mid next year for these new cards. So that will be really interesting to see what that's like. But as far as like these new graphics cards from AMD is concerned, they are the first graphics cards to come out with multi-chip designs. It's using the main graphics die, and then surrounding that graphics die are 6 cache dies. They call them Infinity Cache, and they're just, you know, memory that's through an ultra fast connect to them, and it uses this to help facilitate the regular memory usage, which is in the XTX's case, the 7900 XTX, they use 24 gigabytes of memory. It's on the card itself, but this 96 megabytes of cache that surrounds the card will help it not have to go to that memory as often. So there's more latency when you go out to the GDDR6. And so ultimately, it's really a huge boost to your throughput. And that's what they're doing right now. So it's
It's
they
nice. Like, look at the specs and what all. Obviously, it's nice. It's going to be really good. But you know me. You know how I stand on this kind of stuff. If this thing's going to cost me $1,000 to get, it better talk to me.
Well, the thing is that these are the flagships, right? There's going to be cheaper cards that fill out the rest of the stack as time goes on. So, would I suggest that anybody buy these cards when they come out? Only if you have money to burn. These are for the people who want some of the best of the best. And if that's you, then go for it. For someone like me who is looking to really just play at 1440p, if anything, I'm probably going to wait for the card that comes out around $400 to $500 and I'll be happy. But as long as this technology that they're using in these new high-end cards filters its way down to the lower end, I think people will really be happy. And it's going to be a really nice time for gamers coming up in the PC space. Hopefully it'll get cheaper because consoles, in a world where console prices could be going up, we could be in a place where graphics card prices are coming down a little bit, and that'll be nice. Tangentially, if you want a video card right now, there are some fantastic deals on the Radeon RX 6000 series cards. For instance, you can get a 6700 XT for roughly $350 right now. That card originally launched at near $500. So if you're willing to deal with a RDNA 2 architecture, the previous generation, the price is pretty good right there. And I would say that's definitely a good way to go too.
Or if you really want one, my cousin Louie, he got about 100 of these things in the back of his van. Get them for real good cheaps.
I would not recommend contacting his contact.
What you mean? You got a problem with cousin Louie?
Yes, I do. And these are brand new card prices. These are not card prices online. You could probably even find cards for cheaper online. Definitely worth looking into. But that basically covers all the things I wanted to talk about today as far as news articles.
Yeah, I was gonna say those are your news stories.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on I don't know, a certain war god?
A certain war god? Which one? Mars?
The PlayStation variety.
Oh, your main Kratos. I'm looking forward to it.
The Kratos? Is he Cray?
Don't be Kratos.
Wow, I can't believe I went there.
I can't either, but I'm surprised. I'm a little surprised, but I'm also delighted. So I don't. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm looking.
That should be a PC mod when it comes out. The Kratos.
He's just got wild eyes just everywhere. Yeah, he doesn't use the Leviathan axe anymore. He's got a giant frying pan. He's just cray.
There you go.
Or a lamp.
I might be down to actually play that.
Or a lampshade, or like a giant floor lamp, just. Yeah, no, anyway. I'm looking forward to it. I really enjoyed the story of the first iteration of this chapter. I'm looking forward to this, and I do look forward to playing it a few months down the road from now.
Hopefully, it'll be cheaper by then.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can't be a day one player at this point for a lot of games, unless they're like, honestly, unless they're on Steam, because usually when they come out first day anymore, the game has got a discount on it because it just came out.
Okay.
Very rarely are the games that come out on Steam not on discount anymore, at least that I've seen.
But
But
then,
yeah.
but here's a thought. If they're coming out and they're already on sale,
Mm-hmm.
isn't that just normal price at that point? If
No,
something's always on sale, then isn't that just regular price?
it's not always on sale though. It's like, hey, for the first like 2 days the game comes out, it's like 10% off, and then it goes back to normal pricing.
Okay. Well, you
Yeah.
can tell how often I buy games on Steam.
Yeah, I can tell. Anyhow, so I'm waiting on that one. Plus, I'm still waiting to play Star Ocean Divine Force, which I've heard nothing but great things about. But
I've heard mixed reviews on that as
you
well.
hear mixed reviews on Life. I don't know.
Well, yes. I mean, when your life is, I guess, farming sims, there's too many of those.
Well, I've heard nothing but great things about Divine Force, so I'm looking forward to that one. But I want to get to that one before I get to God of War. But I am eager to see that one come out. So,
Ooh, man, it's almost blasphemous. I mean, playing something ahead of God of War when it comes out here in a couple days.
yeah. I mean,
That's all. That's all. Just yeah.
yeah. Like here's the thing, like as much as I have a YouTube channel and a gaming channel and I try to get stuff out day one, I've also learned that not everything that comes out day one is either A, going to get to the audiences, or B, is going to be interesting enough to those audiences. So
But big games like this one will definitely garner an audience. I would be shocked if it didn't.
And there's the problem. Because it's going to garner views, the bigger channels, the big ones, are going to put that game out, and they're going to get the views. So little itty bitty channels like mine, which is not even like surviving, it's on life support. It's not going to grow like that. It's not going to garner those eyes, that attention. So I would rather play games that are going to either be a great time for me to record or garner attention for my channel.
I tell you what, man, if you get Cray Kratos, it's on.
If there's a mod for Cray Kratos, I will get God of War and I will play that mode. And I do apologize for anybody at home who's wondering what's happening to Monster. For whatever reason, he gets robotic on my side, and I'm the one recording everything right now. So you're fine for the most.
Oh.
You're fine for the most part, but every once in a while, like when you just laughed, you went. So
the magic of editing, sir.
Yeah, no, it can't fix that.
Sure, you can.
No, there's no way. Anyhow, yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to that one. But there is something we need to discuss on our podcast, and relates to video games. And I think it's a good note for us to end on. And it is a conversation we've had off and on with ourselves and other people. And that is, what's more important? I guess I don't even know if I want to say it like that, but the concept of games as art versus games as money, as business. What's kind of your stance on that? Like, how do you feel about that argument?
Well, how do I put this? I think it's a delicate balance. Do I want it to be art? Yes. I'd love for it to be considered art, the same way that movies and music are considered art. Considering that video games is the highest grossing medium period right now, it makes more money than those two things, maybe even combined. I'd love for it to be considered art. But what you have, unlike, like, you know, you're just doing it as a hobby. You have investors, you have publishers, you have just other stakeholders. Stakeholders can be anything from those two people I just said right now, where you have your publisher, you have your fellow employees or stakeholders, including yourself. There's the other front office people, other things, marketing, you name it. There's tons of stakeholders in this, and so it's still a business, and you have to still treat it as such. You can't just have run-ons forever and expect people to still fund your game. So it's a tightrope you have to walk. And in a perfect world, everybody would make their ideal game, release it, and everybody would love it. Fact of the matter is, there's just limited time, budget, and energy. And so the business does have to take over at some point. You have to make some sort of return on your investment, or else you can't fund the next game. So I guess what I'm really saying in the end is they're going to do their best job they can, but if they take too much time, they won't be able to make their next game and possibly another or another work of art or something similar. So I would love to look at it as just art, but there's just no way.
My opinion on the whole thing is, our games art. Yes. Are games a business? Yes. It's not two sides. It is two sides of the same coin. It's not two separate entities. It's not apples and oranges. It's not a sense of it can't be one or the other. It can be both. It's very much that case. And for anybody who might be not thinking that, keep in mind that games as art, that concept is great, but on its own has not enough merit to stand on itself or stand on its own 2 feet. Look at anything from like Picasso, Van Gogh, as actual art, as paintings. Guess what? They made no money. Those paintings are not as pricey while they were alive. They're pricey now because they're dead, and that's
one of a kind in that case.
Yes, it makes it rarer that way. Whereas in modern day, you still have people who are painting, and it's a unique experience. But when it comes to video games, they're still art, but there are so many people just tracing over the original picture. Because they're trying to make money off it.
Well, I don't know if that's entirely the same. Well, I mean, you have your copycat games.
Yeah,
if that's what you mean.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, people who are like, "Oh, this was a really good idea," and so they try to make a version of it for themselves to sell. Some are just flat out ripoffs, like just blatant copies. Others are, we changed like the art style or something, or we borrowed the concept, quote unquote. But the thing that comes down to it is, you have more people. I honestly feel you have more people in the gaming industry trying to make a quick buck than you do in the art world. For like people making sculptures and paintings and things like that, like those people are putting their passion into are manifesting it in a physical way, and they're not trying to do this. They would love to make money off it, but they're not always going to.
And I would say, as far as like video games are concerned, compared to your traditional art, it's a lot easier to have a hobby where you create, traditional art versus, a video game nowadays. Now, there are one-man projects, but these things take years, to
Right.
develop it, depending on the complexity. I mean, if
And-
you're making a little 8-bit game, that's one thing.
Well, even then, with a little 8-bit game, you look at a lot of these indie developers that have come out and it's like, it's a one-man studio and they made this amazing game. Yeah, they made this amazing game, but they made it in their spare time while working their real 9-to-5 job. They had to supply the funds to do this project.
Well, it's a passion project. If it's a hobby, it's a little bit different, right?
But these people are actually trying to sell the game. These aren't just people who are like, I made a game and I put it out. Because those people do that all the time. It's called a game jam. If you ever look at those, you find some very interesting games in game jams. Because it's like, hey, here, our theme is upside downness. And so you now have 48 hours to make a game that's based off of upside downness. And some of those games get sold, but most of those games are just freeware.
Or Roblox.
But so for me to sit there and say that games as art or games as business, it's one or the other, I highly, strongly disagree. It is both. It has to be both.
In an ideal world, it would just be art.
In an ideal world, it would just be art. And at that point, I would feel like literally game on, because you're going to get people who are going to be able to put anything out. It's not going to cost them anything. They're not going to make any money off it, but they're going to put their heart and soul into a project, and that game is going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Bright Memory Infinite. I still need to get that game, but one-man studio. He had a lot of subcontractors help him out, but basically still a one-man project, and I've heard good things about it.
Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley is made by one person, and it has such a following.
Yes.
Terraria.
For all those people who love farming sims.
Yeah, and Terraria, a game I love, Terraria started out as a one-man, but it had to grow beyond him, and it did. And it's one of the that was one of the news stories. It's currently the top selling game on Steam, like 35 million copies or something like that.
Really? It sold that many?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. It's something like that. Like it Terraria has topped the chart. I can't talk. Has topped one of the Steam charts. I can't remember which one it is, but I believe it is sales.
I thought it was the overrated one. Anyway,
you ain't never played it. Shut your face.
Sorry, I can't get into those type of games. I really can't.
You know the nice thing about doing Discord is I can mute you.
You don't want to mute me.
Well, I mean, maybe. Turn it into a one-man podcast here.
But I think we are going to have to mute the rest of this episode here pretty soon.
That was. I don't know how to feel about that one. I really don't know how to feel about that one.
I cover all the outros now.
Oh gosh, yeah. You know what? You ever want to take over for that stuff? You let me know, and I will gladly sit in the shadows of a podcast to see what happens.
All right, so here we go.
You're gonna do
come
it
again.
You're gonna do it.
Yeah, thank you. Come again.
Okay, before we get canceled, I'm going to go ahead and do the outro now. Thank you so very much for listening to us and dealing with us today. We appreciate you all. As we said at the beginning of the show, if you liked what's going on and you want to know more, and you want to be a part of this community, which we really hope you do, please consider liking us, subscribing. I still want to get us on more channels, more platforms. But we'll see how this all plays out right now. Life is chaos. But for now, while we're on YouTube, like, subscribe. Please put your comments down below. We do want to hear what you feel about these things. Please have a conversation about games versus art and games versus business, or whatever. Like, we want to know, and we want to be able to participate with you guys. So we thank you. We appreciate you. Have yourselves a fantastic day. And we'll see you in the next one.
care.
Later.